Hey, AfterBuzz TV fans, tune in now. We're recapping the finale of How to Get Away with Murder.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, everybody. Crazy double episode finale that we just watched. If you guys are tuning in now, whoa. We're going to break it down for you here tonight. We've got the full panel here to just dissect everything because I need time to breathe. Even it was intense.
Definitely don't have time to process after watching that.
I know. I need to,
I'm forcing a smile.
I'm kind of in shock. I don't even know what to feel at this point.
I just feel blank. My face is hey.
Right. Can we just start with who killed Wes once we do our
Yes, we will. We 100% will. First, let's introduce ourselves. We can dive right into the mayhem.
Hey, y'all. I'm April Whisenhant. You can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Hey guys, Elayna here. You can follow me on all social platforms at hey_it's_lay.
Hey guys, it's Sterling. You can find me at Sterling Cates.
And it's JB. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake. Also, everybody that shouted at me for the birthday this week.
Happy birthday!
Thank you guys.
Should we sing?
That's a lot.
Happy birthday to you.
There's no time. We can celebrate me after the show.
The one moment of happiness from this episode.
I was practicing all week to sing to you on air, but we'll see.
Maybe
next year.
Let's talk about Wes. Laurel's dad. Clearly not a fan of the ship.
So we were all wrong.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm glad we've spent 10 hours predicting nothing that came true.
I know. I do have to have a big shout out to one of our fans, Chess, who pretty much completely called it. This morning, he predicted that it was Laurel's dad. And, I mean, obviously it wasn't him specifically strangling Wes, but he totally made the call.
I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't see this coming.
We barely even talked to him.
We never did,
I guess fired.
I'm not upset. I'm upset at the dad more so. He's just such a sleaze. I knew he was a douche, but this level is just... I'm not upset that we didn't predict it because we never really we haven't received much of his personality, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to this. So I'm more so upset that they tried to just throw it on us because we predicted everyone else. And then I'm just upset that he was so anti-West that he went to murder. You could have done anything.
Yeah, it seems a little 0 to 60 to me.
You could have transferred him to another school,
paid him off, something.
Yeah, a million things you can do, but you murder him instead. And I mean, obviously he's done some shady stuff. We know that from his character. But to see that your daughter loves someone so much and then you just go and kill them, it's just to me it's just so out of left field.
Right. We were just saying this before we went on air, but Laurel's sitting there pointing her fingers at everyone else, and it's her own damn father that killed him.
I know, yeah. She was gonna go crazy with killing Charles Mahoney. She was about to straight up murder him in the street.
But she's obviously being followed though because Dominic didn't let that happen.
Listen,
right.
I'm so excited for her dad to figure out that he's going to be a grandfather with Wes's baby. As soon as his face flashed and I saw that him and Dominique were in cahoots, I was like, ooh, wait till he finds out about the baby.
Well, unless there's some way that he does know about the baby, which is why he killed Wes.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It seems a little extreme to just go oh, she's got a new boyfriend, kill him. That seems
but why would the baby make him kill Wes more? Because if that just means he's going to grow up without a dad.
Because then Wes is in the picture permanently.
No, but they didn't know that she was having a baby until after the fire.
Oh, well, she didn't, but maybe he did somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I think the dad
he did some crazy stuff. I wouldn't put it past him.
No, exactly. And I think the dad knows about it because at that point it's sort of public knowledge. Well, not public, but
they didn't know about the pregnancy until after Wes was dead.
Oh.
That's what we're saying.
Wes don't even know that Laurel was pregnant.
Yeah, she could have said something.
But wasn't Laurel just with her dad? Maybe there's somehow...
She asked him for a favor.
Yeah.
In finding Frank.
Yeah.
So maybe he
collected her pee or something there.
Well, when Frank at the end said, I actually don't think he meant it in this way, but at the end when he said it should have been me, maybe it really should have been Frank, because that they were going after, because I don't even think Laurel was with Wes, or maybe she was, but like she went to her dad asking him, find Frank, and that's when he was like, you're so weak, how are you going?
Oh,
Like, she
whoa.
didn't want you to
Maybe-
be this way.
Interesting.
Maybe he meant to like kill Frank.
right.
Like maybe he told Dominic to go kill her boyfriend.
Yes,
Right.
And thinking Frank
exactly.
was her boyfriend.
Exactly.
And then he was like, okay, I'll kill her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's Wes.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
No, yeah. It's, I mean,
No.
he was obviously sort of making all the shots from
Or maybe
the
he
phone.
meant to go West. So it's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is pretty aggressive, not knowing who Wes is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
there
mean,
any way we can get the chat up just because it's the finale and I'm sure people are going crazy?
Yes.
So I-
as are we. Like my
Sorry, guys,
mind
you don't
is
have the chat up,
literally
so-
like
I have
Really?
a question.
crazy.
Yeah.
What?
So I walked in a little late, and I don't know if we found out who Wes called when he said it's Kristoff.
We didn't find that out.
Yeah, why did they leave that loose end?
Well, they did.
Season,
No, we
so
definitely
when he,
didn't.
when he was in the house,
That's
he
the
called
worst.
Annalise and left
Yeah.
that voicemail,
Right.
basically confessing to Sam.
But when he was in the car on the way,
right, that
to
we didn't go back to that
Right.
this episode.
But I think
Interesting.
the only person who called him Kristoff was Mrs. Mahoney. Maybe he called her for something.
Yeah, I mean, Mrs. Mahoney, Sylvia, she did say to
We got
Annalise,
it
like,
wrong.
you know nothing, pretty much. She basically, like,
Right,
Johnson
right.
him.
Because we find out, dun dun dun, he's Charles's son,
Yeah,
not
so he's actually
Wallace's.
her grandfather or grandson.
Which is so crazy to me. I kept saying this when we were watching, but I'm like, they look too similar in age. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, when they flashed back, it's like, oh, Charles is current age, he's
Right,
a
right.
kid. But it's like they look like they're maybe like 5-6 years apart.
Yeah, he
so it's
ages
it's like
very
a weird
well.
casting.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just really upset they ruined him as the guy that played, I can't remember his name in real life, but he's also in Heart of Dixie, which is one of my favorite shows. And he's like one of my favorite characters, and now he's a rapist
And
that
a murderer.
kills people. Damn it.
Yeah.
I can't catch it right.
Not to mention an absentee dad.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. So,
True.
well,
So, yeah, well,
can't believe
there's a
it.
few strikes against him.
yeah.
But maybe that's who he was calling because they did like further. I mean, maybe he ended up finding out. I mean, that's an unanswered question, but it's kind of like trivial almost in comparison to what actually happened. Like the Mahonies have nothing to do. I don't know. It's just crazy. My mind's all over the place right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great theory. I do think that he most likely at this point did call Sylvia because there isn't really another person to say it's Kristoff or that he would need it in emergencies. I think she was kind of alluding to that in the conversation with Annalise, and it only makes sense that like he would like that is a number in my mind if I was Wes that I would put like for emergencies
If I'm in
only.
trouble.
Yeah,
Right.
because she obviously has
Money
a lot
or
of
means.
resources. You know, I think grandmas do that too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they want to look out for
I love how
their
you just
grandsons.
put Sylvia.
Well, no, I mean, I think more
Grandma.
so,
Sweet grandma.
more so than what's his actual dad, Charles.
Right.
You know, like that's a very estranged relationship. I think he would. There's like a lot of unresolved issues, so he wouldn't be calling Charles directly.
But Bonnie made a good point when she said why, or was it Bonnie when she was like,
Bonnie
why
made a
wasn't
good point?
I know, right?
I don't think that's
could
right.
pull it up. But
That can't be right.
Said to Annalise like, why wasn't she the one? If she was so in love with him,
was
or if
Bonnie.
she,
Yeah, that was
okay.
Bonnie.
Then why wasn't she the one taking care of him his whole life? Why was it you?
and maybe
Yeah.
she secretly was, which is why she was in case of emergency.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
true.
What were you gonna say though? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Dang it.
No.
The only thing that bothered me about Annalise and Sylvia's little meeting is that they both just kept being like, "There's so much you don't know. You're wrong."
Yeah,
it's
just
like,
let's
okay,
talk
well,
about
let's
it.
put the facts out there. So this is what happened on my end. What happened on your end?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of they were just both like, "You're wrong," and then it was, we don't know what was right.
I mean, the only thing we found
Right.
out is that I believe her when she said that Wes is actually Charles's son.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so what does that have to do with anything?
Right.
Or maybe what she doesn't know is that she has been helping him his whole life.
Well,
maybe.
the whole Annalise's baby thing was confusing to me because like I feel like Sylvia knew about it, but she was like, "But it wasn't me."
Yeah,
Or
she
something.
didn't
holding
work
back.
She
Right.
gave
Yeah.
us no, but that. So I was gonna chime in there because I feel like Annalise was putting her facts on the table in a sense. Like
Yeah.
when it like I really
Totally.
didn't do X, Y, and Z. This really did happen. You know, so Annalise was trying to get that resolved, and Sylvia was just like, like she was like tooting her nose up, and it was like, girl,
True.
we need to know because we got like 30 minutes left with you, and we don't have time to be thinking about
All
it
this
for,
BS.
for like the next few months. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I think it was Sylvia holding back. She definitely knew something about the car accident. Something about Annalise losing her baby. And Annalise is sitting there begging.
Yeah.
Like, begging.
Well, I think Sylvia's just used to having to cover up for those, like, shitty men in her life. Like, whether it's her husband or her son, you know? So maybe she was just...
And she's not going to sit
there.
there.
Her job was to protect her son.
Yeah, and she loves her husband. She loves her son. So she's not going to sit there and be like, yes, they killed your baby.
Yeah.
I mean, she did say, she was
True.
like, it was a car accident, Annalise, which kind of, like, cut her a
Totally,
little bit.
totally.
But, I mean, she's not going to sit there and condemn the people that she loves. And she said that. She's like, what do you expect me to do? It's my son. I love him.
Exactly, and especially to Annalise. Obviously, we know that she's kind of turned a new leaf in recent days, getting out of jail, like being more morally like stable and sound. But at the same time, she's like a tough cookie, like notorious like bulldog, pretty much in the lawyer game. So the last person that Sylvia like as a mother protecting her family is to reveal something in a public place that would incriminate her family, like her son or her husband that's not around anymore. Like still, exactly. Like that memory, they need to guard and protect, even if there are some skeletons in the closet. Yeah. Obviously there are, but I think she needs a little bit more than lunch and kind of that beratement to really reveal that type of thing.
They kind of were like two dogs in a dog fight now that you put it that way, because in the beginning they both were like, okay, well, you called me. And it was like this, it was like this cat fight against, and they were just like real stern, and then it was like, oh, the ice finally broke.
Yeah.
Clara was probably my favorite.
Yeah. Not now. Not
now, Clara.
Yeah, just get out of here.
Like,
water. Specials. Classic Clara. Just
I will
cutting
say,
in.
after like the past few episodes, Atwood, like we were all talking about her and how suspicious she was and all this stuff, but now I feel bad for her because she's obviously just Denver's puppet, like in this whole thing, and like, I don't know.
I'm disappointed, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like I would rather her be like, yeah, I'm the mastermind behind all of this, or at least like not just be the person that they sweep under the rug and like takes the fall for real.
Right.
They made her this chihuahua the whole winter season, that whatever this was, they made her the whole like chihuahua. They made her this pit bull going against people, and all of a sudden she basically disappeared the past finale for tonight. She was just like gone off to New York for a job interview. You're gonna let up that easy? You need to tell me that you fought this hard and you was doing all that, even if you were being framed to not even join team with Nate. Like, even if you know that this didn't happen and somebody was putting you up to it, you didn't even join the winning team and try to go down with the fight. You kind of just walked away. So I'm more so just disappointed in her character and in who she was supposed to be, because it's and she needs a new wig.
Realistically though, it's kind of like if you have the opportunity to step away from that situation altogether and like start fresh, probably in your best interest to do that. But for the sake of a TV show, like, let's get back in there and like win this.
At least send an envelope to Annalise saying,
here's everything I know.
And before you leave, something.
But she did hate Annalise, so I mean, she's not gonna all of a sudden be like, okay, now I love you now that you figured out that I moved the body.
Yeah,
I mean, she didn't want it to be
figured
figured out that she moved the body. But
and I think she was happy to kind of be in that side against Annalise.
Yeah.
And for most of the season, they were winning. Like, they were definitely, I mean, they put her in jail. They kept her in jail.
I think she genuinely believed by moving the body that she was doing the right thing by protecting the evidence.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because she knows all this stuff that Annalise and her team, like, do to, mess things up. So she's like, okay, if I do this, then I'm going to have a stronger case.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear.
I don't think she was like, oh, I know it's going to be cremated and I'm going to ruin this whole thing. Like, I think she was thinking it'd help her case.
And there's been, like, shadiness on both sides. It's not like Frank hasn't done some cloak and dagger stuff, like, to win a case in their favor.
I can't believe Denver put Connor in a hole.
I know. Yeah, he, like, illegally held him. Like, without food
and
or
bribed
anything.
him with a bacon, egg, and cheese? That's the worst part.
and you turned it down. Wow.
Just not the willpower.
I'm proud of Connor.
I'd be like, let me have a bite first. And then I'll decide.
I was definitely proud of Connor for standing his ground in that situation. Yeah. But Denver kind of surprised me a little bit, just his character, because I remember when we were getting ready to hack Atwood's phone or whatnot, when her records got turned over, he tried to act surprised about her cremating the body or moving the body. Dude, you're like the one who put her in charge of it. So when they had the private confrontation. Is that what it's called? Yes. When I confront you. Yeah. When they had that private confrontation or whatever the case may be, he was just like, what?
Right.
Right.
Which
That is
doesn't make
weird.
sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make
That
sense,
is
but I
weird.
mean, from his point of view, if he was being blackmailed by Laurel's dad,
Yeah.
then I think he would want to cover his tracks even then, like
Yeah.
blaming it all on her, like it was completely her fault, even though he was sort of pulling the strings a
So
little
you
bit.
think he was being blackmailed by Laurel's dad?
Yeah, I mean,
like-
I think the fact that he drops the case when Annalise kind of goes after him about being involved in this whole
Right.
Do we
like,
think
greater
that he was
conspiracy.
blackmailed or that he's just like
Working with him?
Yeah, not
Well,
Somehow-
either one. I think
Yeah.
he is his motivation stems from Laurel's dad,
Who is
pulling some
obviously very
strings.
dangerous and
Right.
you probably wouldn't want to cross anyway.
Exactly. Either he's getting something directly to benefit, or that
Yeah.
he is being blackmailed in some way.
Well, but I don't think I guess blackmail would be the wrong term in my mind, only because he clearly wants to put Annalise away. It's not
Yeah.
like he's being like, oh no, I don't want to do this. This is so bad. But I guess I'm just like, how do they make the connection?
Well, yeah, I mean,
to it?
like to the extent that he's going
Right.
through.
So,
Like,
but how
'cause
did they
he's
make the
definitely-
connection from Laurel's dad and Dominic to Denver? That's
So-
where.
I think that Laurel's dad is this anonymous source that Denver keeps bringing up. He's like, we have a source that has all this information on Annalise and all the kids. He clearly would have access to that because of all the stuff he knows about Laurel, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah,
like,
I
in the
mean,
case, so, like,
Laurel
her, and, like,
mentions-
tracking her phone
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So I'm sure her dad has all that information. That could be Denver's biggest, like, source for his case against Annalise.
Right.
And, like, how else would they have known about that Mexico thing when she just said that she was kidnapped and she wasn't?
No, yeah, of
whatever, like,
course.
all that stuff. So I think that like, that's how they're working together.
So do y'all think Denver doesn't actually know who killed him, or do you think that he
No,
does know?
I think he does.
I think that Denver and Laurel's dad are both villains.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
they might be friends or associates, and they kind of have the same common goal in this point. Like Laurel's dad
It's
probably
like
went to
a-
Denver, was like, "This just happened. We need you to put Annalise away." And he's like, "Oh heck yeah, I hate Annalise."
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
like
feel
a
Right,
you
yeah.
scratch
Yeah.
my back, I'll
Yeah,
scratch
I feel
yours
like
type
it's
of thing.
something
They
like
have a
that.
common goal to get Annalise out of the picture probably and
Right.
kill Wes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're definitely in cahoots in some way because
Well, I mean, Dominic met with him, so they gotta
Yeah.
be in it somehow. I guess
Right.
I'm just like, where's the connection? But that makes sense.
They have a common goal
right.
sorts.
And
Yeah.
oh, season 4 is gonna be so
I know
messy.
it's crazy. I mean, the dad also
Sorry, I'm
owns.
staring at you because
No,
I'm
you're not
thinking.
thinking.
Like,
I got it. I got it.
The dad's there. No, well, I forgot that Laurel's dad is like the head of a telecommunications company, so he obviously has like access to more secretive stuff too. So I think he's been like tracking them more, and that's sort of why he was so aggressive.
I wonder why
Killing
Laurel
people.
didn't automatically think of it whenever they released those records about her lying about the kidnapping. Like,
True.
how would anyone else know about it? I feel like her dad should have immediately come to her mind.
well, are those records public? Like, I don't know, but it's in another country.
Yeah,
too,
and it
so-
seems like she probably would have. It seems like it was a long time ago, and we know they're probably like 24, 25-ish.
Right.
So I wonder if she. I mean,
She
if
could have
was
like
younger.
just not thought about it. I mean, I think it's tough to literally go through your entire life and think of like every possible.
Well,
possible
she's been
skeleton.
on it though. She's been on it, and all of a sudden, when it came to this is like just something that she's not on, and it's her dad. So it's probably like,
Right.
who would think of my
My
dad?
dad, that
Yeah.
would
Right,
do
but
this
I mean, also
for
they
me.
kind of spun it in a new way that I don't think has come at her before. Like that was they twisted it into an attack.
Yeah.
And I don't think like because it was sealed and for for the reasons of her dad like burying it as far as possible. It's like the last thing she.
You
thought.
also said something, and I screeched and pointed, and it was because we were talking about Laura's dad being head of telecommunications.
Yes.
And in one of the episodes tonight, we literally heard her defend him when it came to stereotypes, when it was Oliver. So the fact that the producer set that up that way, it was just like, you forgot, like, he's head of a telecommunications company. He's not some leader of a cartel. He's not a murderer.
Right.
Right.
That's basically what she was alluding to. And
Right.
then behold,
He
Right.
is a murderer.
Yeah.
he is the killer.
Do you guys think? Do you guys think that at the end when she was about to shoot Charles,
Yeah.
that when Dominique obviously like intercepts her, do you think that she connected that? Like,
Not yet.
or do you think there's no way she thinks that's a random, like?
I mean, but maybe.
sighting.
I mean, it's possible. They're in New York, right? No. Wait, no, they're in Philadelphia right now. But
yeah, no, I think she just sort of cut off guard. She was like literally, she had like murder vision.
Yeah.
And then,
Murder
You
goggles.
did.
yeah,
Charles.
just pregnant, about to shoot someone.
horrible.
But
That's-
you know, so I
nothing
think
can go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that her mind was so
Yeah,
in the
focused.
moment.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
It was a more of like, oh shit,
It
I
was just
about
like
to shoot somebody.
like
Right.
a god, like what are you doing? And then the fact that he's talking about he's here for a work trip and she hasn't heard of him.
Right.
She didn't put it together yet.
Yeah.
But she will.
Shoot, yeah.
At least with the help of Annalise.
But
hopefully.
do y'all think
Frank.
he ran into her at that time because he knew she was going after Charles? I almost did think it was kind of random.
Well, no, I
on his
think
part.
that he.
I think he was watching her.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
he was watching her, and I think that the dad sort of like is trying to set them up together.
Who, Charles? Oh, the hitman
new
guy?
yeah,
Dominic?
hitman guy, Dominic.
I feel like they have a
and
past
Laurel.
for sure.
They have
Yeah.
some kind of chemistry,
They
but
have
he
like
needs
a-
to find out about that baby. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you think that the dad is trying to set Dominic and Laurel up, I just think that that's gross. So you kill one guy so that you can set your daughter up with the hitman.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's the only reason, but I think
on.
that's definitely one of them. He like is so overprotective. Like he is not a good dad.
I just want to know why. I still can't, even after talking about it, I'm like, oh, because he didn't like Wes? Da, da, da. Like, I
Yeah.
can't think of a good... And in such... When the scenes where he was being murdered, like, I felt like I wasn't breathing because I'm just like, this is so horrible.
Yeah, that was really hard to
and
watch.
like, hear him grunt. Obviously, it's acting, of course, but... I don't know. I mean, he like straight up Dexter
Were you
stuck
guys
in.
not surprised to see Wes put up a fight though? Like
Oh, I
he
was
grabbed,
yeah, he almost got out.
he grabbed
yeah.
the bottle and banged, and I was just
Yes.
like, Wes Gibbons? No, no way.
That was
Even
after
after
he
he
got
was, like,
drugged.
Yeah,
paralytic.
like he was. Go you.
It just made me so
Yeah,
sad.
it was
So I was
very
like,
cool.
this is the last we're seeing of him, like
I wonder-
dying.
I
Well,
wonder
we'll
if,
have some
like, part
flashbacks
of
because we
it-
still see Sam.
Yeah.
True. Although, Peter Nowak and all of the like creators and stuff were tweeting that they were like, "Thank you so much for your talent and all this stuff." It was basically like goodbye tweets.
Oh,
to him.
no.
Oh, that's
And I
gave
was
me
just
chills.
like, "Oh no,
I
are we
felt-
not gonna
Alfred.
see him?"
I felt
Yeah.
that at the end when Annalise had her monologue.
Yeah. Oh my
I
god, that was
felt-
beautiful.
I
Oh, I just got
slash-
chills again.
I literally felt that was Wes's goodbye, like his official goodbye, and that's like. So when she was talking about her
I'm gonna get
son,
teary-eyed.
I
I'm
wasn't
too.
getting chills because of that. I was more so getting chills because we're literally saying bye to this character.
Right.
And just because of
That was a
how she
beautiful
was. I mean, we
monologue.
knew like she saw him as her son this whole time, but just to hear her say it,
For the
I mean,
first
She's
time.
never really said
That
it
was the
before.
first time.
Everyone
Exactly.
else is always saying it to her, and now this is her admitting.
right?
You know, this
that's
is
what he felt like.
yeah.
And to hear her like throughout all the years, she worried about him on Christmas and worried if he was doing his homework. I mean, even when she technically had no idea what he was even up to.
Right.
It's just, I mean, they did a good job of, you know, giving us that, okay, you're finally like, well, obviously they've been acknowledging his death since it happened, but this was like the final, like, okay, but it's just,
Yeah,
it's
swan
just
song for Wes.
heart-wrenching.
They gave us that
It
the
is, it
funeral
is.
that we wanted.
Yeah,
almost.
finally,
Yeah.
because
They did
Laurel
give us
did
that.
not give a good eulogy.
No.
What about the voicemail? Do you guys think that because it was so like concise and well said?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Wes on some level may have given them an out. Just
Right.
like
Yeah.
he just went through that whole immunity song and dance. You know, he was very deliberate in like his word choice, where knowing that he had nothing to do with Rebecca's death, he worded it in a way specifically like
could
where
be
it
pinned
could
on
be
him.
both.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant to.
I
I,
don't
think
think
he
so
was
either.
You think it was an accident? Okay.
Yeah, I think he was saying for Sam, and because he mentioned Rebecca prior to,
Right.
it was like
Just a happy
put
accident.
together, especially because him and Annalise are in a good place. We're in a good place at that moment because you know sometimes they like are fighting, and they were in a good place at that moment. And I think that the voicemail was very sincere to where they were, because that was one thing that stayed consistent even before we knew that he was dead. Last season, we saw the consistency of him being loyal to Annalise. He was just like, I'm gonna call her, I'm gonna leave, and that's what we knew at that time. So to hear the full voicemail, it was like I could understand you saying this because this is where we left off when you
Right.
were alive.
Yeah.
And I think that he, in like the moment of being at the jail and reading it all on his little plea deal or whatever it is, I think that really made him think like, oh dang, she really is about to go down for these deaths that she has nothing to do with or that weren't her fault. And that's just the type of person he is. But on the moment that we heard that full voicemail, and the thought popped into my mind that it was just like, they're free.
Yeah.
Now that I mean, obviously there are other things like I forget their names at this point, but the brother, sister, the brother that died and everything. There are other things.
Oh, the twins.
There are still other bodies, obviously, but
Right.
now they're free, essentially, of this huge burden. So it's almost like that's where they're going to go because the show can't keep focusing on these things. It's got to like
We're
move in a
checking
different
some
direction.
off the list,
So
which
it's
is
like he
good.
gave them their final gift. And it's terrible, but when Annalise said, she's like, this is what he would have wanted us to do, I'm like, I kind of think that he would have, because think of how many times he was like, I'll just tell them it was me.
He always tried to save the day. He
Yeah.
always tried. So I definitely agreed with her with that.
So it kind of like gave him a good final send off in the way too of being like, oh, you literally just saved everyone
Right.
by dying.
Yeah, which is why Laurel's reaction is like negative for me when I see her like kind of go a little
But
crazy.
understandable,
Well,
obviously.
sort of, but I feel like she is calling people out for not knowing who Wes was, but I feel like we're all sort of in agreement that Wes would want something like that. So I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like
Right. I feel
know,
like
she's not
Laurel
really-
doesn't even really
At
like
all.
know about his past. And,
At all.
You know, so
She doesn't know about the connection between him and Annalise,
she
obviously.
doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't know. So, and I like the way that Annalise, whenever she's being attacked by Laurel about like not knowing Wes or whatever,
Right.
she just stays silent. And then and then at the end, especially when she opens up to the AA meeting, we like know
Yeah.
that she like
She
there's
just
a-
takes it. We
there's a-
see how much she takes in, and we don't realize how much it hurts her.
right, and then she like releases it there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right.
They fully redeemed Annalise from us like not liking her at one point. I think I
Yeah.
said that last week too.
She
But
was
now
looking
it's like,
good this episode
she
too.
really
She was fast.
She let
I
happen.
I can't stop thinking about how everyone was headed to Annalise's in one way or another.
And
Right.
no one
That
walked
night.
in when he was crying for
Yeah,
help.
like how did Laurel's dad and Dominic know that Wes was going to be there by himself first?
or who were they
They
trying to
could have
kill?
had a tap
Like,
on their
Are
phones.
they trying to kill everyone? Or are they just
Well, no,
trying to
I-
kill him?
for-
Like, it was weird. It's weird to me that,
Maybe they had to
Right.
tap on their phones since
and
he's
that,
the
especially that
telecommunication-
Laurel's coming
No,
there
yeah.
too.
when the fact that you brought that up when I was watching the show, I literally thought that when he was reaching, I was like, someone's about to walking right now.
Yeah.
Someone had to be, because they were too close.
Yeah.
Even for where Connor was, like he came in shortly after that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you could have heard something, or you could have seen someone leave something.
Yeah.
Also, now that I think about it, I'm like, I wonder if Wes could have been revived, because I've watched a lot of Dateline, and you can be revived after like a few minutes. I mean, the Connor thing obviously was not his fault, but I do have the part of me that's like, oh, why didn't you run to go get the phone?
Or why didn't you try to drag him out with you?
Right.
Like you literally just ran.
I mean, he smelled the gas line. Obviously, if you smell gas, you see fire, you know, holy crap, it's about to blow up, no matter who you are. So if he thinks Wes is already dead, then of course, I mean, like, run.
Right. But I mean,
it's
he was
still
trying.
like,
Yeah,
oh.
he should have grabbed Wes.
If you're trying
and,
to save
like, ran out.
somebody,
second.
if you're sitting there trying to resuscitate someone
Yeah.
because you want to save them, if you see gas, if you smell gas and see fire, your second thought is to continue trying to save. Like, no, hold on,
Get
like,
them
come
out.
on, like,
Right.
at least I would you?
But
know?
I'm-
Well,
I know
actually,
for sure,
no.
but
He
the-
goes down to check out the gas leak, and then that's when he hears someone else.
Well, no, he was resuscitating him, and then Laurel was coming through the stairs, but obviously he didn't see Laurel. He probably just thought that it was the person who put Wes down there, maybe.
So he ran.
So he ran, thinking, okay, now I'm about to be murdered / blown up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like, I get it, but I'm still like, oh, you couldn't have tried a little bit harder?
Yeah.
You
Right.
couldn't have literally
or just
picked
like
him up.
waited for like help and being like, you know,
In
help
his
me revive this
defense,
person.
everyone does have a mechanism whether they fight or they flee.
Yeah. Connor's definitely a
a
fleer.
fleer.
A runner, yeah.
I wonder if Dominic, like when he sees Connor running out and he tells Laurel's dad that it's
Got
a little
messy.
messy or whatever. I wonder what exactly he meant by getting messy. Like, what was the full intention? Like, did you want Connor to also be dead? Did you
Right.
not expect him to be there at all,
It could
or
be-
to escape?
It
like,
could be
you know what I
Laurel.
mean?
He could have saw Laurel
Or
go
Laurel
into the house.
going.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
it could be
think
like,
so.
it got messy because I almost
'Cause you're-
killed your
Your
daughter.
Yeah.
Or she
Your
could be
son
dead.
Yeah.
is in the burning building.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And I'm still sitting in the car. Would you want me to go in?
Yeah.
Or-
Damn. No offense to Laurel's character or Laurel at all, but I would have almost wanted her to die just so her father could.
Oh, I
get
know,
it.
Yeah,
right?
true.
That would have
Just-
been great.
I mean, we would have been devastated, obviously.
Yeah,
but
right.
it's still like the ultimate vengeance. Okay, you're going to kill this kid for nothing. Like, our favorite person, then your daughter's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's why I love whoever came up with the theory of them wanting to kill Frank. Like, again, just saying she's got a boyfriend, he's no good. Like, let's get rid of him.
I really do think that that's who it was. I mean, I guess he would have known if they were like tracking them, because they had to be tracking them to know that they were
Sort
gonna
of,
be at
but
the
I
house.
mean, Wes is someone that she would be in contact with anyway. So I don't think they would find that as irregular. Them hanging out, because he knows, like, okay, that's one of her student colleagues.
And it's not like, I'm trying to think of like what bad things Wes had going for him other than he had a bad childhood. But Frank is the one who Laurel's dad really knew about, and is the one who was like, he's been in jail, he's done this, look at what he's making you be like. So I just feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just a thought.
I agree.
Do we think that Dominic was trailing Wes before the fire? And if we do, could that be what Bonnie and Frank kind of knew about? Because they were following him, and we still don't really know why they were following him the way that they were. Mm-hmm. So could it be like they were trying to protect him maybe, or they sent someone following him? Like, could that be a tie?
Well, they were following him because of him going to the police, so they wanted to keep up with where he was going, right?
I want to say yes, but for them to, I mean, I know that Nate called maybe and said that Wes is at the police station, or maybe he just went straight to the house. I can't remember if he made the call, but they were there like as soon as he walked out.
So where was
Nate called Bonnie.
So Frank was supposed to be trailing Wes at this point, because Bonnie was like, don't lose him or whatever, just to make sure that he like stays out of trouble.
So where did he go?
So where's Frank?
Right.
Well, yeah, Frank.
That's a good point.
He lost him.
Yeah, Wes loses Frank in like the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
and
I
then
mean,
he
where's the
doesn't go to
first
the
place you would
house?
go? To the house. I feel like. Well, obviously he didn't, but
I don't know. It's just a
Right.
little
Well, I mean,
sketch.
I think Wes wasn't at the house for very long, so before he got like straight up murdered.
Right, yeah, because Nate was there, and then he got killed.
Nate was there,
left the
and then
voicemail,
he came
and
in. Yeah, he got.
left the voicemail.
Yeah,
and
Wes
got killed.
it's just like there
Call.
were so many opportunities for him to be saved. And
Nate was just there.
yeah,
I know.
And then it just does. I feel like Nate would have still been like down the block
He's
when
a
the house blew
detective.
up. You know what I mean? Well, but he didn't know that anything was going on, obviously. But
Well, yeah, I think this like assassin guy, is obviously doing his job well. Like he's figuring out, like he's clearly been tracking.
done
Wes.
this before.
He's
Not
cute.
his first
He is kinda
rodeo
cute.
with murdering people.
Why did I make the murderers the cute ones?
I know, I was kind of like, that was kind of fun.
Right.
Did you guys think it was weird though that scene with Frank and Annalise at the end when he's like kneeling at her feet? I thought
Yeah,
it was
he
really
just-
Groveling is
I felt-
over.
He's done that so much. I'm like done with him doing that. Like stand up. Like
Right.
why don't they hug or something?
Because I thought Annalise should have hugged him in that moment, but it was kind of like the final, okay, I did this for you. I went to jail planning to stay there just in case. And I'm like, I feel like he could have walked in and Annalise could have been like, shh, and then they hug it out. But then I just didn't like it.
Well, yeah, no, I think it was his ultimate like asking for forgiveness, like like officially.
I'm gonna try this one more time.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean, he was responsible for her baby dying. So
Outside
like
of them being in the courthouse, though, that was his first time being face to her, because she wouldn't look at him, talk to him, or see him prior to.
right.
Good point.
So it was almost like that.
That final, like that actual reckoning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been building up. They've sort of had like an unspoken forgiveness, but I think that was the first like confrontation that we saw. Like he is in that place, and he is willing to do literally anything. Like he's basically pledged his entire life now.
I mean, he
to
even like
service.
objected in that trial whenever he saw like that Laurel was going. Well, that was for Laurel, obviously, but I'm like, he kind of lawyered himself through the whole situation for her.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I don't
And in
know.
those
And
moments,
he
they
ended up
couldn't
getting
talk,
off too, obviously.
yeah.
Oh, because Wes was blamed for everything.
Bonnie was driving me crazy this episode.
I literally was about to say, y'all reminded me how annoying Bonnie is.
Yeah, when they first started the trial or the hearing or whatever, when like Annalise was literally writing down on a notepad just like this and was like 109, like use this example, and then Bonnie would be like repeat it, and then they got like dismissed or whatever, and it was just like,
or
Bonnie sucks.
Denver was like, who's trying this case or whatever it is, and
Bonnie is so annoying.
And then she just looks like when people are having conversations, what are you offering
When
us?
Frank,
What is your purpose here, Bonnie?
She got called out tonight too for Rebecca's murder.
Right.
Yeah,
I wanted her to say, yeah, I did it. I wanted her to say.
We all
Me
said,
too.
we were like, yes, she did.
Yes, she did. We did yell at the TV, actually. I wanted her to own up to it at that point, because everything's on the table. But the way that she looks is what makes me say that she's annoying, because when Frank bowed on his knees, She was just like looking, like she was like the way that she was looking around. It irritated me, and I didn't know why I was irritated. And I realized that while Frank was apologizing on his knees, I might add again, he just reminded me of very psycho-esque, like he reminded like a psychopath. And I realized that Bonnie and Frank are really the psychopaths. Not to put a label on them, but I do think that they have really deep mental history.
It's like
they're
definitely
like
pets.
sociopaths.
It's like they're her obedient pets situation. They're like, pet me, like
her mannerisms are
me.
crazy.
Yeah. And then she's like waiting to see if if Frank gets forgiven.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're definitely, I mean, they have had a trouble past, but they're still, like, sort of broken shells of people, and I think that's why Annalise, like, goes to protect them. Sort of, in a similar way, I don't think the Keating Five are as bad. Mm-hmm. They did something in a similar space by, taking out Sam, but Frank and Bonnie, I think, are the only ones that have actually, like, gone way out of the way Asher, I guess.
Yeah. He was like cold blood.
He overreacted.
That was Asher saying "I love you" to Michaela.
Oh yes, that was very sweet.
And then Michaela realizes it in the bathroom at the hotel right before she.
Yeah, her
realization was way cuter than his "I love you."
She's like, "I love you." I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do.
It was
that was like the only cute moment of this episode, so I just had to bring that up really.
Yeah, it was the only like sort of positive moment.
Yeah.
I was here for the ice cream eating. When he started on his ice cream, that would have absolutely been me.
It was positive whenever Annalise finally went to Denver. But he just, to be like, I'm giving you this, let me off, pretty much.
Yeah. But it's,
I guess I still wonder, like, his motives as well. Obviously, he hated her because she did this, and she did this, and she did this to him. But he kind of seemed like psychotic to me as well. That's why whenever we were watching, whenever it was kind of like leading us to it being Denver, not her dad, I'm like, oh wow, he really is psychotic. But even that, I was like, this is too random.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's Laurel's dad.
I almost wanted Denver not to take the deal, just so she could go after him. And I just was thinking about what season 4 is going to be about, sort of for the last few episodes, and I would love that. I just really want the Keating Five and Annalise especially to go back on the offensive.
Yeah.
They've been just defending their own like situation, licking their wounds, and figuring out how to get out of such extreme jams. I don't necessarily want to go straight back to the case of the week stuff.
Right.
But I would love them to be from a place of power that we saw them like sort of.
It's just going to be an interesting dynamic, knowing that it's Laurel's father.
Yeah.
And Laurel being on the opposite team.
She wants to know who killed Wes.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Dominic is a good enough distraction because she wants to know who killed Wes.
Right.
And she's looking at him.
She's got a gun ready.
And I think that's going to put the Keating Five back on the offense.
Yeah.
And help them, take their position again.
And it seems like Annalise is ready to like get back in action because the way she went into Denver's office and was like, because I'll go after you for the rest of my life if I have to.
But I wonder if Annalise will tell them that she knows pretty much that it was Denver. Obviously, they don't know that she knows that. But
some of them do. Oliver, Connor, they know because they were all at the house afterwards.
Except, remember,
she freed Connor out
stuff.
because of what they went to do.
They know about Connor.
Oh, yeah, they know about the burner phone.
Yeah, they know about Denver.
When we talked about Denver being a little psychotic, I think that his when he lashed out at Nate, and he had an episode, I was like, ooh, he is a killer.
You crazy.
Yeah.
Right. That moment kind of like put him in that box with Frank and Bonnie for me.
Yeah.
But then now I really want to know because I too, like you, JB, wanted to see his head on a stick in front of a courthouse.
Yeah.
And I think that
everything Annalise was saying, I was like,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
But then if they focus on that, then Laurel's dad just like gets off. Yeah.
So the fact that he took the deal made me a little antsy, but the reason I wanted to do that so much was because I just want to know his history. Like, now I want to know, how does he move? How does he act? What does he say?
Yeah.
Right.
Who else did he pay off? What other crimes did he commit if he's going so hard, so casually with this one?
Exactly, yeah. Like, if he's that cavalier about being corrupt on this case, maybe he's doing it on pretty much everything.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but we have to think of the corrupt things that Annalise has done before. She's, given herself a pretty big pile of things for people to go against her, to hate her for. So, it's like the one person who you lose everything to, which obviously Annalise was that for Denver. And so, I mean, that gives him enough ammo right there.
Right.
Talking about being corrupt. I mean, she's done a lot of corrupt stuff herself, obviously.
True. But I feel
she
like
had her reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
And I think, we've all talked about Annalise kind of turning a new leaf.
Yeah.
What, I would love for maybe, the next season or next few to kind of flip it where she goes after these corrupt people. Obviously, she's done some bad stuff in the past. But I think what better way to make up for that than to make sure people aren't continuing to do that. Kind of putting a stop to that, especially at the
But
DA
the
level.
show is called How to Get Away with
True.
Murder.
So that
She's
means
got to be getting
someone
away
else is
with
gonna
murder.
die.
Yeah.
Or
is
helping
Laurel going
people
to
get
go
away
after
from
her dad? I mean, that would be...
Oh,
Actually,
hell
I think
yeah.
she would easily go after her dad.
I think she would not have a problem shooting him in his sleep or something.
Whoa.
she's got the gun.
She's got the gun. It's
prepared.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know if she would do that to her dad. I think she is gonna see right through Dominic, though.
She doesn't like her dad though. She likes him, but she doesn't.
Right,
Yeah,
but
but are you
there's,
gonna,
there's a
murder
difference
your dad?
between
Probably
not liking your dad and
Maybe.
shooting him in his sleep.
Do you think that she would
puts him in
choose
the
her
jail.
dad over Wes, or would she prioritize Wes over her dad? Because she prioritized Wes over everyone.
I
Right,
should
I think she would
prioritize
choose Wes
Yeah.
over her dad. If her
But
dad was like,
I think
me
she
or
would
this
send
guy.
him to
He's
jail.
going
I
down.
don't think she would murder him. I think she would be like, oh yes,
Let's get
he
him
facilitated
locked away.
this.
Yeah.
Then she's a hypocrite.
But especially because it's her. I mean, he killed her son's father. So that's enough to go against your dad right there.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, again, I don't think she would ever pull the trigger on her dad. I do think she would, if
Get
he
him
was
locked up.
drowning, basically, then she could walk away. I think
If there
It's a
was
little
a
bit different. It is
situation
a
where
little
he
bit
found
different.
himself drowning.
well, no,
probably be like,
metaphorically
"No."
drowning. If he was about to go to jail unless she said something.
You
and
didn't
he
even
would be like,
metaphorically.
or
You meant
physically.
drowning.
Or
If he
physically.
slipped
No,
on
I
a
mean,
banana to the 6 feet end of the pool.
No, I don't think she would, if he was literally in danger of dying, she would walk away. But I mean, if he was going to go down, the family,
I think
wouldn't
she would
care.
help take him down. I think she would help send him to jail if she found out that he facilitated this. I don't think she would just be like, meh, we'll see. I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think she would physically kill him.
Right.
No, but I think she would help take him down.
I think the Mahonies are going to join forces with the Keating 5.
I think so too.
Right.
That would be
Keating
pretty
4.
legit.
Yeah.
Is it the Keating 4 now?
Well, Oliver,
Yeah,
but...
yeah. I think it's
Ew, it's Oliver the
Oliver's-
replacement.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
We cannot take it. Can we wait? I mean, I'm gonna talk about them joining
Well,
forces.
yeah.
Can we talk about
The marriage proposal?
proposal?
Yeah.
in the middle
he
of-
might be married into, he's
Yeah.
K5 in law?
Yeah.
No.
In
I
law.
mean, K4 in law.
Yeah.
Oliver has been better the past couple of episodes, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, he did defend Connor when everyone else was saying that he could. When Connor was in the hole and everyone was like, he's probably
Snitch.
snitching
Right.
on us or whatever. and
Because Connor gave us a
probably
reason
could
to
too,
believe
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and Connor technically did. I mean,
Yeah.
The reason Connor was in the hole is because Connor went there to sign a
Right.
freaking
Immunity deal.
But I
deal.
think that I think he had the good intentions though with that because I think in his head he was like, oh, if I say that this, then they'll get off or whatever.
right.
I thought that he was going to try to pretend to sign the deal so that he can figure out what they know. What
Maybe.
else
Yeah.
they know. I thought that that's where it was going to
Yeah,
go, but he
I
had
think that he
different idea.
had good intentions going in there to sign a deal because he called Michaela to tell her about it. He's
Right.
like, listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
He
whatever.
wouldn't have told them otherwise.
Yeah.
probably.
Oh,
he
and
picked-
thank
yeah,
God
he
for
picked up the
Asher.
phone.
Right,
He,
right.
he
Called
called
the
the
phone.
called the number. They should have done
The
that.
wild
But
card, Asher comes in
it
the
worked
clutch.
out that they didn't call the number beforehand because they needed the right time and place.
Exactly.
Right.
Good old Asher.
Good
saving
old
the
Asher.
day.
Asher saving the
Always
day.
thinking.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
So with the Connor, though, back to him for a second. Do you think he made a good call by revealing the phone?
Well, obviously.
I think so because
That's what's going to save him.
Yeah,
Right,
I
but I
think
mean,
so because
I feel like they could have brought that up at like another time.
I think it was the best way for him to be able to get out of there without signing the deal,
Right.
but also he knew nothing was on it. Well, to his
He
knowledge,
thought
nothing.
nothing was
yeah,
on it.
to his
'Cause they-
knowledge, nothing was on it.
Yeah.
But
But
he's
they-
like, let me just throw this in
They
their
did that on
lap.
purpose because they don't want to leave us being like, oh, he knew that Wes was admitting it, and he essentially threw him under the bus.
Right.
Like they needed someone else to come up with
Yeah,
that.
I guess it
idea.
was just super lucky that the one thing
Right.
that was actually on it that they could find
very lucky.
exonerated the whole team.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to wait until season 4.
Ah, man, that's the worst.
I know, it's so far away.
It's so sad.
It's in the
Such
fall.
a good season though.
What are you guys
yeah.
gonna do for the next like 7 months?
Yeah. Probably watch
all the
Yeah, just repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very sad. It's been a great season though.
It feels
Elayna,
so
it's great to have
short,
you on the
though.
panel now.
I can't wait for season 4.
I know. It actually does come up pretty fast.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It does.
Not
We'll keep
fast
telling
enough,
ourselves that.
obviously. Yeah, just giving myself little psych ups
Yeah.
to get through the pain. I'm done.
Oh,
Sorry.
bye. Okay.
Well, where can
Well, at least we did find some answers. Silver
them.
lining.
We definitely
people.
found out
We
who
did.
killed Wes.
We could
Yeah.
find out who killed
We don't know
Wes.
why or when or I mean we do know when, but
Yeah.
Yes.
why?
talk to me on Twitter? I'll be waiting for the premiere.
Yeah, where
Exactly.
can the people find you guys?
Y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
And you can follow me on all social platforms at hey_it's_Lay.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
And you guys can find me at Hey John Blake. Please tweet us in the off-season comment in the YouTube what your theories are for season 4, where that's gonna go.
Season 4.
Miss you already.
Yeah. See you guys then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.